Good day, everyone. Hi, this is Miss Carms again, and welcome to our Social Science 2 Understanding Culture, Society, and Politics. And today's recorded discussion is about Chapter 5, entitled Looking Back at Human, Biocultural, and Social Evolution. So, in this chapter, everyone, we look back at the process of biocultural and social evolution and ask following questions like how do societies change and evolve over time? What factors and processes enable social change? Another questions are what role does culture play in the evolution of society and its membership? Also, questions like what perspectives can enable us to analyze and better understand social change as experienced by individual cultures and societies. Okay, so these are the common questions that we will ask with regards to understanding biocultural and social evolution, everyone. So let's get started. Okay, our first topic will be about growth and development of societies. Okay, so as we all know, classmates, societies are said to have evolved as human beings learn to adapt to their environment, right? So social evolution went hand in hand with the process of socialization and enculturation, which we have discussed in the previous chapter. So with this, anthropologies um, cite three types of societal evolution, such as biological evolution, technological evolution, and biocultural evolution. Okay, so let's start with uh, this biological evolution. Okay, so when we say biological evolution, everyone, it refers to the process whereby organisms undergo various genetic and physical changes that pave the way for biological diversity. So from the term itself, no, biological. So um according to okay, let's go to the next. All right, this one. Okay. So according to Francisco Jose Ayala, a noted Spanish American biologist, the theory of evolution in biology suggests that the various types of plants, animals, and other living things on Earth have their origins in other pre existing types, and distinguishable differences are due to the modifications of successive generations. Okay, and all right, in a simple term, everyone know biological evolution continues to influence how people live and interact with other members of society. So, di ba class, initially, individuals gathered in small group that eventually turned into large societies, right? So, at first, they lived a nomadic lifestyle and engaged in hunting and gathering for their livelihood. But eventually, the people learned to settle in specific areas, particularly in areas that were in close proximity to rivers, and acquired knowledge in producing their food through agriculture. So, moreover, they underwent what we call technological evolution. All right. So when it comes to technological evolution, everyone from the term technology. So this time, the people learned to create various tools and equipments for their daily tasks, such as planting crops, domesticating animals and trade, and so on. No, so people this time learned to live together as a society, shared beliefs, ideas, values, and attitudes, um, and practices, no, as well as material possessions. So material possessions were accumulated over time and forged a sense of culture among the members of this society. Right? So this actually totally helps everybody or the people in the society to communicate better and to produce more um, useful things for daily lifestyle. No, that's for the technological evolution. All right, next. And the third one, no, is also introduced by anthropologists. And this is the concept of what we call biocultural evolution. So this happened sometime in the 1970s. So when we say biocultural evolution, they refer to as the mutual interactive evolution of human biology and culture. Okay, so it's just very easy to remember now, because biology, and then cultural, so from the culture. So this concept focuses on the idea that biology makes culture possible, and that developing culture further influences the direction of biological evolution. So there is really a relationship between biology and culture. Okay, it is also considered as a basic concept in understanding the unique components of human evolution. Okay, so okay, next slide. Okay, so cultural development class is interconnected with people's capacity for language, tool making, and technological innovation. Okay, so in particular, anthropologists put emphasis on the role of effective participation in social networks in cultural development. Okay, so again, now let's go back. So we have three types of societal evolution, and these are biological evolution, technological evolution, and the biocultural evolution. Okay, now this time, class, let's proceed to our next topic. The next topic is about the evolution of social and political institution. Mhm. So, class, no, human beings are social beings, right? Okay, so that's why we have group and then we have society. So, people are naturally inclined to live together and learn from continuous interaction with one another, right? However, there are different views on how early social and political institutions have developed over the course of history. Okay, so in this topic now, class, we will be learning about the different um, people or anthropologists or sociologists that has different views with regards to the evolution of social and political institution. All right, now let's start with uh, the view or idea coming from Lewis Henry Morgan. So, class, in the 19th century, so the anthropologist Henry Morgan or Lewis Henry Morgan came up with an evolutionary scheme that divided history into three stages of development. And these are um, savagery or savage stage, barbarism or barbaric stage, and civilization or civilized stage. Okay, so he stated, class, that savage savage stage is the lowest stage of development, which is exemplified by the nomadic and hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Okay, so that was a time na hunting and gathering uh, lifestyle kind. No, so that's uh, an example for the savage stage, or what I call this one, savagery. The second is barbaric stage or barbarism. Um, this is the middle stage, or considered as the middle stage of development, where people began learning agriculture, okay, agricultural techniques, and the domestication of animals. All right. Finally, the third is what we call the civilized stage, or during the civilization stage. No, this is the highest stage of development where people learned writing already. Mm. So Morgan's studies were read and used by our second sociologist, okay, who is Frederick Engels. All right. So Frederick Engels has um, postulated that the accumulation of private property paved the way for the collapse of primitive communities and the establishment of class-based society. So again, he focuses on class-based society. And later, okay, so later, class, he collaborated with Karl Marx, and they came up with the perspective that social institutions evolved primarily due to the struggles between social classes over the means of production, such as wealth and private property. Okay, so they're focusing more on the social class. No? Okay, yes. Another sociologist is in the early 20th century. No, this time Herbert Spencer applied Charles Darwin's principles of biological evolution to social evolution. Okay, so for Spencer, everyone, individual members within societies engaged in a competition. Okay, again, engaged in a competition for survival. Okay, whereby the superior ones dominate those who are of the inferior type. Okay, so this idea, class, was actually seen as a justification for imperialism. So kanishang kang Herbert Spencer. Yeah, so again, survival, and then there is superior and then inferior. No? Um, okay. However, this idea of Spencer was heavily criticized, everyone. And the criticism paved the way for what we call a non-evolutionary perspective. Okay, so this is totally opposite to Herbert Spencer's idea, no? So when we say non-evolutionary perspective in cultural anthropology, no, it is believed that societies cannot be classified according to definite stages of development, and that one society cannot claim to be more advanced in other societies. Okay, yeah, so it's totally different from Herbert Spencer's. No, additionally, everyone, he mentioned, I mean, this non-evolutionary perspective um, has this perspective that each society and culture must be analyzed and at the same time evaluated according to its own specific context and influence of outside factors. Okay, I hope you got this one, class, no? Anyway, such perspective, class, when it comes to non-evolutionary perspective, um, is known as what we call cultural relativism. I hope you can remember this term, no, from the previous lesson. So, cultural relativism. This is the notion that an individual's attitudes, beliefs, and ideas are based on cultural context of his or her society. Okay, so the main proponent of cultural relativism is Franz Boas. Okay, so Franz argued that human behavior is not rooted in biology but is socially constructed. Okay, all right. So therefore, everyone, no, sociologists mainly subscribe to two different ideas regarding to the origins of social and political institutions. So let's proceed to the next slide, no? Yes. So the two ideas on the origin of social and political. So the first idea is that there are those who subscribe to the idea that evolution occurs based on stages of development. And that is believed by Morgan and Ingalls. The second idea is that there are those who subscribe to the idea that one stage does not necessarily precede or lead to another stage, like ni Franz Boas, no? So, anyhow, it should be stressed that while there are different perspectives on the evolution of societies and its institutions, what remains evident is that societies have evolved over time. We agree? Okay. So, in other words, the evolution of human beings have given rise to the development of social organizations from hunting and gathering groups to agricultural communities until the industrial societies. Okay? Okay, let's go now to the next slide. Okay. All right. So, the class, the developments and changes in social organizations or societies processed over several thousand years and were influenced by innovations and changes to human conditions. So the earliest societies were comprised of, as we all know, hunters and gatherers, right? And they are referred to as band level societies or simply called bands. So the first one, Kanisha, no? So um, the people there were basically small and nomadic family groups and were plainly organized. So these groups were believed to be highly egalitarian and non hierarchical since distinctions were based on age and sex, and division of labor was natural in this level. All right. And there are some changes, Clasno, that brought about the establishment of what we call tribe. Okay? So, tribes are more formal. They are more formal social organization made up of several bands and groups that were connected through a clan structure or kinship. Okay? Additionally, Klasno, the leader of the tribe, or what we call headman, was a more formal and established leader compared to the bands or band level nga wala pa sila ka ng mga tribe leader or headman, no? So, the headman or tribe leaders had significant influence among the members of the tribe and was recognized as a person of great importance. right? So the headman also performed other responsibilities class. Um, okay, going back, no. So the headman class no also performed other responsibilities, and these are okay. So it's like this one, no, resolving conflict, overseeing activities such as planting, harvesting, and movements of the earth, and organizing feasts and celebrations class. All right. So the growth of tribes allowed the people in the society to increasingly interact with one another. Okay. And that leads to the establishment of new political organization, which is what we call chiefdom. Okay. So chiefdom class, which consisted of tribes united under one leader or chief. Okay, so within chiefdoms, the more um, complicated interactions among members of the tribes, as well as the large population and territories, are transformed in a leadership rules and gave the chief more complex responsibilities. All right. Okay, let's go now to the next topic. Our next topic is the industrial evolution. Okay, so for the industrial evolution, everyone know, um, beginning in the mid 1700s until the 1800s, many societies in the world, particularly in Western Europe, were transformed by the Industrial Revolution. And this event class introduced a significant social, cultural, and political changes in the lives of the people in Europe. Okay. So, class, it is actually widely believed, that the factors that influenced the Industrial Revolution were mainly technological in nature, right? So the inventions and technological breakthroughs that were achieved significantly altered economic activities that paves the way for massive social, cultural, and political changes in the society. Also, the increased use of mechanical devices and the discovery of steam power led to the development of the factory system. And that brought about many changes in the society, everyone. And as a result, agricultural societies were transformed into industrial societies. Okay, so the effects of industrial evolution includes increased migration, changes in lifestyle, growth of urban, increased production, rise of middle class, and of course, technological advancement. Okay, now let's go to the next topic, and that is the theories on society and state. Okay, so the discussion on the evolution of societies has given rise to various ideas regarding the origin and nature of society in the state, right? So, the following are the major ideas about the origin and nature of society. So, that is the formation of the state and the views about law, governments, and citizenship. And the first one, that is the first theory, is society as a natural institution. The second is society as a product of social contract. And the third theory is modernization in theories. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Okay, the first one, class. So this is society as natural institution. Again, society as natural institution. So the ancient Greeks class now believed that society and its various institutions are a natural product of man's interactions, right? So the Greek philosopher Aristotle believed that human beings are by nature social and political animals, and that human interactions fulfill certain basic needs. Okay, for instance, an individual's basic biological needs are met by his or her family, right? So, more complex needs, however, are met by more complex forms of interactions. So, in that way, class, okay, in that way, Aristotle um, believed, or Aristotle considered the police or city state as the highest form of interaction, which fulfills the highest need of man, um, which is self sufficiency. Okay, again, the highest need of a man is self sufficiency. So for him, the police is the reflection of natural order, as the city state is composed of people who govern and those who are governed. So Aristotle used the example of the relationship between the master and his slave as an illustration of the natural order of things in the society. So while slaves are expected to perform their duties for their masters, free men, on the other hand, must perform their duties as citizens of the state. Okay, so Aristotle believed that it is only by living in a society that a person is able to fulfill his or her ultimate purpose. Okay, remember that, huh? So, again, according to Aristotle, living in a society, um, that is one way for a person to fulfill his or her ultimate purpose. Okay, let's go to the next theory. Okay, the second is society as a product of social contract. Okay, so this is another view regarding the nature and origin of the society and the state. And this one looks at these institutions as the product of what we call social contract. Okay, so when we say social contract, everyone, that is an agreement made by the members of society that defines and influences their interactions, um, particularly with those in authority. However, there are different ideas regarding the nature of the social contract, everyone. Okay, let's start with the first one, no? Okay, so the English philosopher Thomas Hobbes thought that the agreement was necessitated by the need to guarantee the security of the people. Okay, therefore, the main role of the political ruler was to maintain order and security within society. Okay, again, Thomas Hobbes focuses on the order and security within the society, according to the social contract theory. Okay, next is there is another view from John Locke. Okay, so John Locke, he is also another English philosopher, thought that the social contract was needed in order to guarantee the fair and impartial enforcement of the law. Okay, so for Locke, human beings live in a state of nature governed by rationality and natural law. Okay, so the primary function of the state as defined by the social contract, is to guarantee that individuals exercise their natural rights to life, liberty, and property. Okay, so just take note of that, class. Okay, now there is this third view. Okay, another view is from John Jacques Rousseau. Actually, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Okay, because he is French, a French philosopher. So, Rousseau emphasizes the idea of the natural equality of humans. Okay, therefore, the only justified authority is the one that emerges from an agreement among all in which each particular will have been submitted to general will. Okay, yeah. So again, he emphasizes the idea of natural equality of humans. So equality po niya, no? Okay, so again, that is for the second theory about social contract. And the third one is this one, no? Modernization theories. Okay, so as previously discussed, one of the views regarding social evolution is the progression of societies from a perspective stage, right, to a more developed stage. So, um, we have this historical a materialist perspective class. No? Again, we have what we call, in this theory, we have the historical materialist perspective developed by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. So they assert, or this term asserts, that societies evolved in stages in relation to the development of the means of production and its own ownership. So, in the various historical stage, from the primitive communal society to the capitalist society, so people are involved in a class struggle to control the means of production, such as land and capital. Okay? So the need to control over resource led to the emergence of the state. Okay, so the state is viewed as the instrument of the ruling class to maintain its control over the means of production. So society is seen as being in a continuous state of conflict as the different classes within the society attempts to control the means of production. Okay, so theories of modernization relate the development of societies to economic factors. So let's proceed to the next. Okay, so another sociologist, Max Weber, um, writing in the early 20th century, observed that the process of what we call rationalization and bureaucracy. Okay? And this happened in modern industrial societies. So, based on these perspectives, more specialized functions have to be performed by social institutions as societies expand economically. So the state bureaucracy became larger in size, and its agencies became specialized, requiring qualified personnel. By the way, class, the term bureaucracy is a fusion of two words, the French word bureau, meaning office, and the Greek word kratos, meaning hierarchy. Okay, in other words, no, office and a bureau office, and then kratos means hierarchy. So literally, bureaucracy means rule by officials. Okay, so today the term refers to the system of administration of any large institution. So Max Weber considered the bureaucracy as characterized by rationality, rule governed behavior, and impersonal authority. Okay. Next is this one. Another noted sociologist of the 20th century is Emily Durkheim or Durkheim. I'm not really familiar with the pronunciation of the names. Anyway, so Emile or Emily distinguished archaic traditional societies from modern societies. So for him, uh, he described actually traditional societies to be bound by what we call mechanical solidarity. So mechanical solidarity is a sense of bonding within the community based on similar beliefs, values, and activities, as well as kinship that ties its members. Okay, so more developed societies, however, are characterized by an organic solidarity. Okay, organic solidarity where division of labor is more specialized. Okay, okay. So, for instance, not all people can produce the food that they need to eat, right? There are also necessities such as clothes and equipment that need to be provided by other people. Okay, so another distinction made between traditional and modern societies is the function of the law. Okay, so for Durkheim, in other words, the division of labor increases the productive capacity and skill of the workman. So division of labor also creates a feeling of solidarity between the people. So in other words, it goes beyond economic interests and establishes social and moral order within the society. Okay, so we actually have here the differences between the mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity, no? Okay, so let's see this one. For mechanical solidarity, it's the social integration that arises out of the homogeneity of members of society. For organic solidarity is the social integration of that arises out of interdependence of members of the society. So there is really division of labor, no? Kana is organic. Next, for mechanical solidarity occurs in societies that have similar members. For organic solidarity, it occurs in societies that have various types of individuals. Okay, so before we end with our recorded discussion today, let us shortly go to the summary of this chapter. Okay, let's go to the first part. Where is it? Okay, yes. So, di ba class, there are three main types of social evolution, again, according to anthropologists, and these are biological, cultural, and technological. Okay, so when we say uh, biocultural evolution, no, that refers to the mutual interactive evolution of human biology and culture. Okay, next, there are different theoretical perspectives now on how social and political institutions emerged. But the two main groups of ideas are evolutionary theory and cultural relativism, right? Again, evolutional theory and cultural relativism. Yes, as stated here, no? Okay. Okay. Another thing is that different forms of social and political institutions emerged as societies evolved, right? So band level societies were organized simply, while More complex forms of organization, such as tribes and chiefdoms, emerged as society evolved. Okay, and lastly, the major ideas on the nature and origin of society and state include: first, the views that society is a natural institution developed as a product of human interactions and to meet basic needs, right? Next is society is a product of social contract or agreement among members of the society. And the third is society's progressed from primitive stage to a more developed one. Okay, so I hope you have learned about our topic today. And that ends our recorded discussion for this video. Thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you will review this one because we will have an activity during the face-to-face class. So see you class and take care. Bye.